Yeah, well, when you look at academic research around development of coaches, a coaching course, a badge, a qualification, is 10 to 15% of what makes an expert coach. And it's these kind of events that make the difference. It's getting coaches together to share ideas, discuss, listen to experts. It's mentoring, it's reading, it's all that kind of support. That makes an elite coach or a more expert coach. So events like this are fantastic for the development of coaches, and they can get to see different people at different levels. Well, I guess the key message for coaches is don't get bogged down in the X's and the O's of, well, the ball goes here and there's this amount of players and the area is this big. That's not coaching. Coaching is about the difference that we make to young people. And it's the interactions and the relationships that go on to support that learning process. It's not just the technical bit that goes on in the practice. So I would certainly urge coaches to look beyond that and take a real broad view about what's the coach's personality like, how do they engage with the kids, how do they set up tasks for learning and development, as opposed to, well, let's concentrate on the football outcomes. Everything that's planned around long-term player development now is absolutely crucial. It is the cornerstone of developing players for the future, but it's also the cornerstone of developing better people for the future. I'm a real firm believer that the game is a fantastic vehicle for teaching young people to be better adults. And our challenge as coaches is to help kids fall in love with the game so that by the time they're 55 years old, they still either want to play, depending on what their body will let them do. I know mine's given up already. Or volunteer, coach, administer, referee, and give back to that next generation of players. So events like this and the background along long-term player development is hugely crucial, and I would certainly kind of urge coaches to be part of that for their own development and really enjoy part of that journey. I think there's a lot of similarities because you're working with kids, and a 10-year-old kid in Canada probably in the main largely thinks like a 10-year-old kid in England. They're not suddenly got 2 heads and 4 arms. They're not different beasts. They're very, very similar in terms of their motivations, their drivers, why they participate, what they love about the game. We certainly know at the older age group, by the time 14 upwards, and we start to see a bit of a drop-off, looking at the reasons why we find that, whether it's the coach behaviour, their external life, schoolwork, girlfriends, jobs, partners, all those kind of things. And I don't think there's a huge amount of difference. I think our challenge is to make the environment so much fun that they don't want to stop playing it. Because I've never got up on a Saturday morning and gone, oh, it's too much fun, I can't do this anymore. You just don't think like that. And I think our challenge as coaches is to got to make that environment so good for young people that they just want to keep coming back all the time. So there's a lot of similarities around the challenges that we face at the top end there. Well, when you look at a lot of the research from kids, and this is where I think we have to base everything, we have to start from an evidence base of feedback of what young people say. Not, it's just my gut feeling, or it's what happened when I was a kid, because their lives are very, very different. Kids tell us things like they love playing to be with their mates, to have fun because they love the game, and they enjoy competition. What they don't like is adult emphasis on winning. Now, there's a subtle shift in that, because if we had 2 teams of 6-year-old kids out there, they'd go and make up a game and they'd go and play. The difference is 10 minutes after the game, their lives have moved on to something totally different, and they want to know if they can have a McDonald's on the way home. That's all that they care about then. But for the adult, it's ruined their weekend if the kids have lost. And it's about finding that balance within youth development. So adults have got a real role to play in terms of helping kids learn, supporting their development. And I think the big message that we're saying to parents is, after the game, in that car journey on the way home, just say to the kids, I loved watching you play today. Not, well, you should have done this and you should have done that, and I can't believe you didn't do this and that was right. No. Just, I loved watching you play today. That's all the kid needs. Let the coach do the coaching and give them some help along the way, and you just go back to being that kind of relentless pursuer of life goals where you support them to be a better person. Kids are naturally competitive. You know, I've never seen a kids team go out on the pitch and want to lose. It doesn't happen. the kids will always go out and want to try and win the game because that's the aim of the game. You know, it's one team versus another team. But if you watch kids at school playing chess, they'll try and win because that's the nature of a game. There's a winner and a loser. And I think sometimes you have to do things like this to shock the system. It's a bit like if you go to the gym and you do the same fitness program for 8 weeks, your body gets used to it and plateaus. And it needs a bit of a change to jolt it back into life. I think it's about getting the balance with adults. It's about understanding that kids will go out and try and win because they like the competition, but win at all costs is wrong. It kills learning, it kills development, it kills the enjoyment of the kids. And it's the adults that have got the challenge with that, not the kids. And I think we've got a role, and events like this have got a huge role in terms of educating adults about what is the right environment to help kids get better at the game. My coaching session is around psychological stuff. It's less about the football and it's more about developing the person. And I really wanted to kind of show that, you know, yes, we'll be doing 1v1s, 2v2s, lots of dribbling stuff, you know, that they'll get their football dose, but actually the focus for me is on social interaction between young people and how you can develop those skills. So it's really looking beyond just the technical, tactical outcomes of the game and saying, well, how can we use football to develop better young people? Oh, and by the way, if we do this, we'll get better players. And ultimately, that's what we're all about.